Hey folks, welcome. Here we discuss real stories by real people. Today we have the story of a man whose wife wants to move her AP into the house OP paid for. Let's see how it goes. Story 1. In my perspective, my soon-to-be ex-wife and myself had a decent marriage filled with highs and few lows. We've been together for 7 years in total, and together we bought a house last July. I felt like we were living out the American dream as a young married couple, and we were discussing having children. However, without warning, our marriage started going downhill. My wife started growing distant and started showing the classic cheater signs like putting the phone away when I entered the room, etc. I was growing restless by her actions until my wife brought up the topic of divorce in August, which shattered my world. She insisted she chose not to seek counseling or work on our issues, and after some serious prodding, revealed that she had fallen in love. The guy is a longtime friend of hers who I became acquainted as well. Almost immediately, she began a new relationship with the guy. I was a mess seeing my wife publicly going out with another man, as I was not given any time to process my emotions before she became deeply involved with someone else. We still lived in the same house, but she was hardly there, coming and going as she wanted. When she came, she often brought her boyfriend along, and one time even performed the act in our bedroom while I was sleeping in the guest bedroom. She treated me like I was an intruder in my own home and would drop hints how she'd like some time for herself and when would I be finding a place to live, etc. But I refused to move out. After several weeks of waiting to be served, I decided to take matters into my own hand and had her serve divorce papers at the end of last month. She was very unhappy. For some time after that, she kept saying that the choice should have been hers. I reminded her that divorce is indeed her choice. I'm just putting it in action since she hadn't. It's almost 3 weeks later and she's still dragging her feet about signing them. She also has stopped going out with the AP as much, but I hear they're still very much together. Today she dropped this gem. She said I needed to get on with moving out ASAP because AP is having roommate troubles and is hoping to move into our home. It sounded so comical and I just laughed right in her face. I told her I'm not moving out till the divorce is done and I get my half of the house. She absolutely blew up at that. Apparently she was hoping I was going to let her keep the house because she's moving on and is in a new relationship already. So she thinks the house is more use to her than to me? What? I just can't deal with this stupidity. Or is it entitlement? It's sad to see her become like this. She used to be a decent town girl, but now she's become a tramp. It's even more concerning because her parents and the rest of her family are firmly on my side. She seems to lack a support network, apart from her boy toy, but I doubt it'll last that long. Now for some comments. It sounds like your wife has completely lost touch with reality. The audacity to bring her AP into your shared home and expect you to just move out is beyond disrespectful. She has no regard for your feelings or the marriage you both built. You're right to stand your ground and not move out until the divorce is finalized and you get your fair share. Her behavior is completely out of line, and it's good that her family is supporting you. Stay strong and don't let her push you around. You deserve better than this. Is your wife on crack? Why would she expect you to hand over your house to her without being compensated for it? It's almost surreal how entitled she sounds, thinking she can just keep the house because she's moving on. You did the right thing by serving her the divorce papers and standing your ground. Don't let her manipulate you into leaving before the divorce is settled. Hang in there and take care of yourself. Story 2. In February, I found out that the woman I was about to propose to was cheating on me. I saw she was texting another guy and dug deeper, and she admitted that she was cheating on me. A few days later, after emotions came down, I asked her why she did it, and she said that she was scared about the future because I was in the process of joining the Air Force and might get stationed overseas. Turns out my medical waiver got declined, so I was not able to join. I started working out and accepted a job that required me to move to the opposite side of the country, and I was starting to get better. About a month ago, I sent her a message, giving her a small update on my life and how I was doing, and I told her I forgave her. After that, I started to feel more at peace about it, but not completely. I just went on a weekend trip with my best friend to a state park, and after a day of hiking, I sat in the lodge, drinking a beer, reading a book, and looking at the beautiful landscape in front of me. I felt genuinely happy again. But tonight, I found out that she is dating a guy in the military, and all my anger and resentment came rushing back, and I feel I'm right back where I started. I've read a lot of things on the web, mainly articles, about how to get over it, but they all seem to say the same thing. So I decided to come to Reddit. What have you guys done to help press on? Update. Well, it's been a while since this happened, but I'm on the right road to recovery now. In my previous post, I mentioned that my ex's new boyfriend was in the military, and that she had cheated on me because she was scared of what would happen if I joined the military. Being from a military family myself, I decided to let him know what happened to me. I sent him a message on his Instagram telling him that I appreciate his service and what he is doing for our country, and I warned him about my ex. To my surprise, he answered, "Please tell me you're fucking with me." I told him that I wasn't because I did not want her back at all and I had nothing to gain because of this. I know a few guys that thought their girl back home was being loyal while they were deployed, only to find out they were cheating when they came back. He told me that he had caught her in quite a few lies these last couple of days and had begun to be suspicious. He gave me his phone number and asked for me to call him when I got home from work. When I had gotten home from work, I called him, introduced myself, and he asked me questions about her and how she acted. He said she was still messaging a bunch of guys she went to college with and refused to tell them that she was in a relationship. It was the same thing that happened to me. Next, he asked me to tell him the story of how I caught her. I told him the story, and as I ended, I heard a chair scraping across the floor on his end of the line. I began to hear her crying, and he said, "Hey, get your ass back in here. We are putting this shit in the open now." Turns out I was on speakerphone and she was listening the entire time. She then said, "I didn't cheat on you because you were going to join the military. I cheated on you because you weren't a Christian." He asked if this was true, and I told him that my beliefs were not as strong as hers, but I was wanting to explore more into my faith with her, kind of using her as guidance. Then I said it's kind of hypocritical to say that and then cheat on someone you say you love, but then sleep around on them. Lastly, I asked him how long they've been together. He said 4 months. I laughed and said, "We broke up 3 months ago." So that means she was with 3 guys at once, who all thought they were the only ones. He thanked me for telling him my story and helping make sense of how she'd been acting. After I hung up with the guy, all that anger I had went away, and it really hit me how much I was saved. Since then, recovering has been a lot easier. A part of me always believed that it was a bit my fault, as there could have been something I could have done to prevent this. But this taught me that cheaters are going to cheat, no matter what. Edit. If it would have been any other guy, I probably wouldn't have done it. But the fact that he was in the Army, about to be deployed, from my understanding, I felt like I had to do it. Not only for myself, but for him. I'm glad I did it, and he was very thankful I did. Well, does she know adultery is one of the 10 commandments? How bold of her to accuse you of being not religious while not following her religion. It's nice when individuals find humor in the situation later on, or when they receive additional proof that the cheater is indeed a loser, allowing them to find some kind of resolution and progress. I wish you're feeling better, because you absolutely should feel a lot better without her, honestly. Now for some comments. I know it doesn't make the fact that she cheated any better, but I'm glad it caught up with her. I like to hope with people like her that situations like these are good wake-up calls. But even if they aren't, you did a really good thing for that other dude. Military members wind up on the extremes of the cheating spectrum pretty often. Rampantly cheating or getting cheated on frequently. It's miserable. So on behalf of someone who's a military member, dealt with infidelity and catching my ex-husband in that same kind of web of lies, thanks for stopping that crap. Nice. I've been thinking of reaching out to my soon-to-be ex's AP since my wife is a psychopathic narcissist, but I don't know how that would go. She's painted me as the devil incarnate to her AP and friends, when in fact it's the inverse that's more true. I ain't anywhere near perfect, but she is truly evil. Really, I just wanted to put out a friendly heads up, and also make her liable for her actions, to be honest. But I think it could backfire. Seeing as I have enough on my plate, I have not moved forward with this. I don't know the guy. Maybe he's just as big of a piece of shit as her.